Good day, guys. I'm going through the comments as we started live, and I'm already seeing Peter K. Good old Trump destroying the US global markets, dragging us into a trade war. And we were talking in the Discord literally minutes before we started, and I was saying, if we look at the narrative behind what the Discord, what drove the last bear market, the last time it was the war, the Ukraine war. And so I said, Hot Narratives does this all the time. And, we need to outsmart our opponents. And our opponents are ourselves, So today's information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is on the basis that we just need to kind of I almost want to say, just take a woosah, just chill a little bit and say, okay, right. Yes, shit's bad. I'm looking at some of the alts. I was looking at like, oh, guys, I feel, and I'm also partly in some serious drawdown with some of my coins, my long term, my investment, my retirement coins. Let's put it like that. But at the end of the day, it's not so bad. And I think the bears are losing momentum. And I'm going to share that with you guys. Doesn't mean that I'm not expecting a little bit more downside, but I think there's some hope around the corner for you guys. So let's hopium alert this. And let's see if we can find a little bit of a light in the tunnel and see if we can get past this tough time. Because bear markets, they don't last forever either, guys. So it's just one of those things. Okay. So when we're looking at the Dixie, with everything that is happening, guys, I mean, we're feeling it in all the countries. I think everything, the markets don't like uncertainty. And the easiest way for uncertainty to kind of show up is people just abandoning ship, just saying, well, I'm just getting out. So your stock markets are getting hurt, everything is getting hurt. And the Dixie itself is also coming down, which makes it weird because if you think about it, where's the money going to? Because typically when your stock markets sell off, they're fleeing back to the safety of the dollar. The dollar is not, nothing is, where's the money going to? So it shows you that there's some sort of I don't know what it is, but you can call it some sort of a trickery or something in the background. As big players are basically probably bullying price more than it should be. So take it easy, relax, sit back, watch the video. Let's look at the technicals. Remember the saying, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. That's what I want to try and bring through for you guys. Okay. Before I do that, I'm going to just check at everybody's comments here. Let's see what we've got. Liam, but it's weekend, so I'm still ready to learn. Nice to have you here, Liam. Hello, Liesels. Always. I see LTech Codes is here. Idu, hi buddy, nice to see you on the live. And Mr. Complicated Simpleton, greetings to you as well. And let's look at this. Let's look at this. Okay, so the Dixie is in a buy zone, which means for me, if I were to buy or trade the Dixie, this would be the area where I would try and expect it to go long, which means that straight off the bat, I think Bitcoin's going to go into the 70s. That's it. Now, we know from previous, and I'll show in charts now, that from previous bull markets, Bitcoin can go at 35% retrace, and it's all good. The only problem is these days it takes about 6 months for the retraces to occur, so it's horrible. We also know that from the Dow Jones, US 30, top 30, blue chip companies, their index is not looking good there. The market's pushing lower, but look at this. This was the area that I marked out for you guys in the beginning of the year when we were sitting in here, we're moving into this area. And I said, if we cross the red line, expect more. But just because we did, it doesn't mean that it can't come back and test some sort of a trend line. So although the sell-off is there, it's everywhere, we're still bullish because if we zoom out, have a look at this, what is happening is as the market is building momentum, you can see it's slowly but surely growing on higher. And when it starts moving very fast, like it's doing right now, you're going to have these crazy events in the market. So people will be more sensitive to news than what they would be normally. So think about it. If it's been flat and boring for years, and somebody comes and changes tariff rights, it's like, oh, course, okay. But if you're living in a land of milk and honey, and you've been making money hand over fist, and all of a sudden you're getting something that might disrupt that, the first thing you're going to do is like, oh, now I need to protect my wealth. Simple. Okay. So the market will get more sensitive to that. Even if you scale this onto a monthly time frame, and I think it's wise to look at this from a monthly perspective. You bring in your RSI. Yes, we've had divergence since forever, but the rule with divergence is, as I say, and I always hold on to, that's how we navigate through this, kind of remain sane. Look at it as a thou shall not cross line. If you fall below the divergence pivot, which we did in that instance, expect the market to kind of hurt you. Okay. And we made another higher high and we stayed above that pivot. Expect the market to continue on. And where we are now, we've made weak bearish or strong bearish, if you really want to zoom in there, divergence. So the rule is simple. The stock markets are bullish. They just need to go test recent lows. And that's what's hurting us even more. The same can be said for the S&P 500, which is now not just the first 30, but also the other, taking it to a 500. And all that we need, we've broken through key areas. That's where, this is statistically where the divergence needs to occur for a reversal. Okay, we've gone much higher. So what we need to do is just go and test recent lows. And what's going to happen when we test these recent lows on the legacy side? Okay, look at where the pivots are. This RSI is running down. Scared people are selling. Whales are using this to start positioning themselves. Okay, there's going to be hidden bullish divergence. So best case, worst case scenario in a sense, there will be a head and shoulders kind of pattern at least. So even though you might feel like it's going to end, and there's definitely that, just like Bitcoin did the last time, everything, there will be a last little hurrah. The only problem is the price at which that happens will never be enough. That's the one sad reality of this. So in conclusion, even if we take this over to the NASDAQ, tech stocks have been growing, and that sell in May, go in May is probably going to be coming around pretty soon. I marked it out. When you look at sell in May, these are all these vertical lines represent May. There's no real, there's no real trend to it, in my opinion. It's just a nice hook. Yes, if you zoom in, there is a retrace within that period as big money leaves and go on holiday. But then there's the exceptions to the rule where sell in May becomes an exceptional bullish market. So the market is probably preparing for something, preparing for a buy to actually continue onwards. As long as we stay above our divergence pivots, guys, you have to believe that it's still there. So you still need to have that hopium. You cannot, if you want to find out where the top is going to be, you cannot, or you should not think that in the pursuit of doing that, you cannot give it back a little bit. And that's normally the way a FIP works. If you look at any standard FIP, any way you need to look at this, once you reach the top, so there's the bottom, there's the top, you always need to be able to give back at least 23% on those big moves. So to say, okay, right, lose that. Now we're going to start setting up a new wave. And if we take that now, when we look at this entire move, where we're at, okay, we now lost the 23.6. We're in that continuation area. 38.2, that golden zone where the bounce happens. Okay, so I'm betting large time frame. I mean, we've been saying bearish for forever. I'm betting that it's going to start turning bullish now. It doesn't mean that the picture that I'm going to paint for Bitcoin now is going to remain the same. Everybody still there? Everybody still awake? Everybody in the comments, quickly say hi or give me a 777. Let's just make it simple. Give me a 777 in the comments. Boom, boom. And while you're at that, just want to say, do you have your own Blofin account yet? Okay. There's a special link right at the top of the screen. There it is. Okay. If you deposit, create your own Blofin account today using that link, and you deposit your $100 of trading capital, that's the minimum requirements from them, you'll get rewarded $10, free $10 of BTC. Come on, free $10. And if you deposit a little bit more, you get to join my private group. Okay, links to that in the Discord, links in the video description. You can go to the navigation button and click on that little promotion. Everything is neatly set out there. It will open a one-on-one ticket between you and me, and you can swap your trader account ID. That's all you need. and you're trading the username for the buddy indicator as well. So there's a lot of pros there, and then you can come and trade live with me, and you can look at some of my investment stuff, the HODL reports and the HODL guide, which I'm building at the moment. Almost done with it. Probably by the end of the week it's going to be done. That's going to help you navigate the next cycle, because there is going to be a next bullish cycle coming our way pretty soon. So make sure to jump in on that. Use the link in the comment section, because that one has a nice little bonus for you. Okay. Then I saw Mr. Login. Do you think this month Bitcoin will go to 72K? That's a good opener for today. And I see there's some crypto, the guys on the Twitter side of things. Come on, let your voice be heard as well. It's always the YouTube comments that gets popped through. So all the guys on Twitter, come on, give me a 777. Let's get going. I know Twitter is not that. We're not used to streaming that much, but go and have a look there. Come on, and ad got smashed today, my friend. It happens every day. It's the guy that continues on, keeps fighting. You're the one that's going to win, the one that's here now. Everybody says this. I know. I hate it, but it's the reality. Okay, so let's look at this thing pragmatically. Let's just zoom out real quick. I'm going to be brief with this analysis. Okay, because we want to look at alts, and I think let's do that. If there's a coin that you really need me to have a look at now, drop it in the comment. One coin per person, not a list of coins. Okay, one coin per person, something that really needs attention. You might be feeling that you're heavily underwater. You kind of just want to have another opinion on it. I cannot give financial advice. I cannot help in any way, but I can have a look at the coin. You're more than welcome to just drop it. I see Renee's already throwing. She's very quick on the button of this thing. She's already throwing AAVE out there. Okay, especially the guys on Twitter. Come on, let me know. Okay, so big picture. Let's take away the alt season theories for now, okay? Let's just look at Bitcoin's price. We know the following to be true from a pure on-chain perspective. Every time there's a halving marked by these vertical red lines, the market goes bull market. And every time there's a bull market, between halving times, at around the 38% of the time it takes between that 4-year period of each halving, we get a top, and around the 618, we get a bottom. It did it there, it did it there. So who's to say it's not going to do it there? And it kind of did it there as well. Not so much so, but I mean, you're very close to the top there, you're very close to the bottom there. And I can probably bullshit if I really wanted it, but there you have it, okay? So that's the reality. So as long as that trend is there, the on-chain dynamics is still there. So yes, there might be narrative news that drives it along the way, but then there's also a few differences. Normally between that area, there would be, I don't want to put a text box, there would be a little bit of an accumulation. So from bears, you think about it, 2014 to about 2015, and then 2016. So you can almost say about 2.5 years where it's just kind of there. There we had the same from 2018 all the way to about 2022, 2.5 years where it's just kind of there. It's below the halving all-time high. This time around, we had the market just shoot up. So by the time we got about 2 years, we were basically at all-time highs already. Why? We had really good fundamental driving forces behind Bitcoin. We had institutions, the door opening for big institutions to start having it on their balance sheet. So yes, this created, I think, a market that rallied so prematurely for the accumulation that we're suffering for that now. Doesn't change the end. It just means that we're going to probably have a different way of creating a top. And remember, the market does this. It always rhymes, but it never repeats itself. So there's going to be a rhyme, and I believe Bitcoin probably going to be hitting 120. I don't see it going any further than that, purely because it's growing. It's the bigger the market cap, the less multipliers behind it. It's just simple, okay? And for that reason, I think that what you need to just give it time to understand that it's going to take time to creep. Maybe 140. You never know, but that's something that needs to just. I think we just need to be patient with that. Now, I've seen this many times with the original on-chain data, that original one where every time it switches red, it's bearish. And if you look at the sentiments and stuff, people are fearful. We're 28. If you go back, look at how it's been now for the whole of March. The market's definitely not enjoying the way, crypto at the moment. So the public sentiment's really bad. If you think about it, if you look at the alts, there's one coin that's still holding on, but it's purely because everybody's throwing their hope into this one. And eventually that hopium is going to run out and it's also going to dump. But herein lies the clues for us going forward. These coins that's probably now still showing a little bit of green for the year, meaning wherever they were at the beginning of the year, they're still above those levels. These could be really good candidates to look for when we try and look for the next bottom. Okay. And let's continue on with the analysis then. So if you look at where we are from a purely technical trend point of view, the market is, we've had a range, we've had a big move. We've now rejected at that half level 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row. Okay. And the argument is now I need to see the lower low. I need to have the RSI give me hidden bullish divergence. It's not quite there. So that's why I'm holding down that this month, maybe the beginning of the month, maybe the end of the month, maybe in May, it can take a while to get there. The argument is we need to fill the gap. We need to get that last little bit of punishment in to really destroy hope, because the emotional market cycle, and that's what Crypto EMC, this whole YouTube channel is about, this emotional market cycle, is that we need people to get angry at influencers. We need people to get angry at the YouTube channels they're watching. We need people to get angry. And for the most, I haven't seen enough anger. There's enough excuses going around. It's Trump. It's this guy. It's that guy. It's not us yet. Once the community starts turning on themselves, that's normally when the bottom is in. We haven't turned on ourselves yet. Everybody's still happy. I'm still getting a lot of 777s. I'm not getting a lot of FUs. So once that happens, it's there. So does it feel like a bottom to me? No, not yet. I can be mistaken, but I do feel like there's probably going to need to be a little bit more fun and games, like Boris says, in order for us to just kind of navigate through this area. And if you feel depressed, you're probably in the right zone to start considering buying. And if you cannot buy because you're holding coins that's maybe underwater, remember, wise man once told me this, if you sit on a sinking ship and a rocket passes you by, just grab the rocket. There will be opportunities. The market will never run out of opportunities. Okay. So can it pump now, please? I hope so, Chris. Okay. Let's finish off, and then I want to look at those alts with you guys. About 220, 230 people joining in live at the moment. Guys, do me solid. Just as a kind reminder, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the video with a friend. Let's help grow the community. Okay. Point and figure is a nice tool, because what it does is it tells you where there's these little gaps, these inefficiencies in the way the price moves, to kind of give us hopium, where the market is going to go to next. Kind of next destination. Probably not, it's not a guarantee that it's going to go there, but that next destination kind of thing. Okay. So what we had was when in the beginning of March, we had Bitcoin sitting around 87.5. We went short there, and then it gave you a little, it almost looks like a little FU middle finger there, and it swept the highs. We managed to short the market nicely there at the end of March, and we rode this short nicely down. And the hope was that when we reached the sell zone, the market was going to continue on down lower. Now we've made a lower low, everything is fine, but it gave us a little bit of another middle finger there, and it basically liquidity grabbed the hell of us. And it brings us to this point where if we look at the market structures where we are now, there's a little bit of upside. That's why the trading stream from this morning said 85, 86, 7 thereabout is the reversal. And we actually got to 84,900 on most of the exchanges. I missed the bus there. It started selling off. So is this going to grind back up there? Maybe. But one thing I want to point out is that, we've got this area here at 78, and then we've got these lower targets at 72. That I think is where the price is going to move towards. Okay. So very simple, price action wise, when you have big moves, the market needs to fill the gap. That's it. When you have big moves, the market needs to fill the gap. When you have a big move, the market needs to fill the gap. Okay, that's all that it's trying to do, just fill the gap in order to protect the trend. That's all that it's trying to do. So we're in that position where it needs to fill the gap. Now, what will make more people disbelieve in the idea that this thing could rally if it does this? How many times have you seen something dip out of a trend, look really bearish all of a sudden, and then pops back into the trend and then off to the races? Just needs liquidity. It just needs a little bit of fear in order to move forward. Okay. Right. That's about everything that I wanted to share. Now, the last little part that I kind of want to use just to help navigate you guys through destinations of where price can go is the CME. Now, what do we have? We've got sell-off CME. The market goes and revisits. We shorted that thing all the way back down. CME right back, consolidated, filled the gap. So there's a CME sitting right there at 85.4-ish about. But for me, the bigger picture is I would like to see what that happens over the weekend, because it's weekend dumps that create significant CMEs, that creates reasons for price to go there. Okay. And, you know, when we look at further down, there's not a lot. So I'm expecting, and this is now me being very hopium alert, I'm expecting, if we look at Bitcoin from this point of view, and I'm going to bring this out, that there's a little bit of lower low. Remember, that CME is sitting right there, okay? There's a little bit of lower low required in order for us to make another strong bullish divergence. We've already made one there. Not strong bearish, strong bullish divergence. And if we reject statistically from where we are right now, I can use my strat 1. This is the area where I believe the market's going to want to go to. Around 76 to around 72. Meaning we go there, the RSI is really high. We'll make another lower low, and it would have filled the gap to the previous consolidation. And remember, these were all the old buy and sell zones that we had. So I'm going to leave this buy zone for you guys on the screen, because now is the time I want to put my head on the block again and say, I think that that's going to be the area where the buy will occur. And roughly around that time is probably where alts are going to find a little bit of a bottom. Okay. Feel me? Does it feel good? Let me know. Give me a 999, because we already used 777 in the comments. If you can buy in on the idea that that could potentially be the build. Remember, the buy. It's not financial advice. It's just statistical probability. It's just trying to look at where the most area, where this could happen, please. Okay, so these all Firestorm doesn't make sense. Did I keep it simple enough? I always worry that I try and overcomplicate these things. Those on Twitter, let me know. Come on, throw some comments through. Okay, now let's move on. So we looked at this bubbles a while ago, and I said, and I shared this with you guys actually. And Trump said at one stage, you know, because it's a hot narrative at the moment, the Trump and pump and dump, you know. I added the dump, you know, Trump and pump. Who said it? I can't remember. If you're still watching live, just throw your name in there, because kudos to you again. The main thing is there's a few coins that's probably going to be supported. The whole tariff drive that's currently bringing everything down is based on the basis that they're trying to save money in the U.S. economy to bring the debt down. They're looking at it and saying, simple, our business is not going to make it if we keep on going like this. We need to do a pivot. So the argument is we're importing products all across the world, and when we export, we are the ones paying tariffs. So in essence, we want to make sure that we get the same kind of, you know, tit for tat. So, and in doing so, we're saying to everybody as well, if you want to bring your business back from not manufacturing abroad, but actually manufacturing back in the US, there will be tax breaks. Now, the narrative or the driving behind that is very complex but let's simplify this for our crypto coins. If there's going to be tax breaks and advantages, coins that's already positioned in the US will have first mover or first mover advantage as well. So maybe when the narrative starts becoming less bearish and then bullish again, because that was a really bullish driving force 2 months ago with the election. Every time he said something crypto, things pumped like crazy. these coins would potentially be the ones that's going to start hitting the limelight. And I mean, HBAR, let's have a look at it. It's already on this list, 50% up for the year. Okay, there's a lot of them. We're going to maybe look at Trump and Melania as a meme coin just for the fun of it. You know, those kind of stuff is there. But AVAX, Solana, XRP, Cardano, these are really big things. I think Doge is here as well. So those things would move. OP. So take a screenshot. Take the screenshot. SUI. Look at where SUI is. SUI's on this list. SUI's back up again, 31%. So those kind of coins, I think, in the same spirit of what the tariffs is trying to do, bring the manufacturing back to the US, not let them import everything. In the same way, you know, making it more favorable for people to do business and trade in the US as well. I think that these coins will probably be doing really well because they're going to have that first mover advantage for the US economy in that sense. Maybe first mover advantage isn't the right word, but I think you should get the idea that I'm trying to pass through. Okay, so then let's go over to the coins and let's start looking at some of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some of your requests. Now, there's a lot of you guys, so if I skip you, please bear with me. I'm flying solo, no Peter behind me. He's skiing on some sort of a crazy slope out there, and I'm giving the guy. He is allowed to take a break every now and then. Okay, so let's see. We've have a look at Rene. That's at AAVE. So let's start with AAVE, and so where we're at now. Typically, what we want to see when we're looking for the buy, and remember now, there's buy zones, and then there's buy zones with the argument that there's going to be a continuation of trend, and if it fails, there's an accumulation zone, and accumulation zones function differently. And this is trader looking for more. This is investor looking to get. Okay, and those kind of sideways markets is what we're looking for. So if ever you just don't know whether you need to be in it, ask yourself: is it flat? Is it going to move? Because that brings you back to the emotional market cycle. You want to be buying in this depression, banana market or kangaroo market where it just dung, 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 you just do that. Okay, that's what you're looking for, and once that's there, you'll probably have a nice reaction. Now, what I say about owning spot and owning something, why I don't fear about the fact that my ETH is in drawdown, is because I can't get liquidated. I own the bloody thing. It's sitting there in the wallet. It's just sitting there. If it was $10,000, I would have sold it, and if it was $100, I wouldn't have sold it either. Sold it either, because it's not the time for me just yet. And one thing to be true is when there's a move, the market will always go and find and test that area. And that's what we did. So for this, the exit, say we don't get an alt season, shit doesn't become, or, the stuff that we were hoping for doesn't happen. But it would be hard fine to say that it's not going to happen. If you look at the similarities in the market, we due for that alt season. Well, probably due. If you think about it, it's about time. Bitcoin goes up now, chops a little bit sideways, and this dominance starts falling down, that kind of thing. So that means that there is going to be a secondary test, and that will just go to at least the mid. So that's the worst case scenario. Maybe the alt season is just get out of your alt season, not alt season to the moon. I think what a lot of people are thinking, and maybe the market got too wise to the fact that there was these trending similarities, and that's why we're getting punished now. So think of that going forward. So AAVE, maybe once you get about 250, consider maybe now's the time to say, and in order for us to get there, the longer this happens, the higher we can start moving the bar again. But if we start rallying next week and so forth, 250, 240 it's like, it's time to get the fuck out there. It's as simple as that. There's no other way to say that then, because then from a technical point of view, the market's giving you that dead cat bounce. Now you need to now bounce, because it's going to hurt you going down further. Because just like that, when it's down 80%, it can go down another 80%. Things can hurt you really bad. So just keep in mind that. Okay, Renee. So you're happy with your with AAVE? Let me know in the comments. Everybody else that looked at AAVE, makes sense. Okay, let me know in the comments real quick. I'm going to look for the next coin. So I'm going to scroll up and down all the comments, see if I can find the next coin. Okay. What I want to do is just before I do that, look at something I think does look juicy. TON. I'm going to bring back the candles. And the reason I'm saying that is TON had, you know, everything. Everybody was TON. All the influencers, all the big hype YouTube channels, they were going TON to the moon, TON to the moon. Everybody's saying TON. And we managed to get the sell. Sweet on that thing. Okay. That's just statistically the same rule that I've applied for this, for all these cells on the S&P and as the rules go with this, come on, trading, we don't. If you cross that red line, there's more to come. SUI did just that, cross that red line, and there was more to come. So TON did exactly that. It rejected in the sell zone. So the same argument now is when you have this fast move, the market needs to go fill the gap. It's simple. It needs to fill the gap. Boom. We're filling the gap now. Now we want to see this thing go down. So I want to see more sell-off. We need to almost embrace the suck, you know, as I would say. You need to get into this depression zone for this, because then when the volume is low and the thing is losing interest, the volume, it was nearly non-existent at these lows, okay? When the volume is low, that's going to be when the real accumulation occurs. So it means that that buy zone that's going to sit there is going to make you a killing, because guess what? You're going to have an opportunity to grab it back at $2 probably, and you're going to trade it for at least double your money again. So even if you're in drawdown, say you've, you know, something that maybe went down 99%, as soon as you double that, that 99% is looking way better. Okay. Yes, it's still not that far, but you only need a couple of those to get you back onto path. So, you know, you need to almost, you know, be able to forgive and move past if there's anything that you're carrying that's really in drawdown. Look for the next opportunity. There's a lot being built on the Telegram network, and it's something I use every day. So there's use case, there's utility, there's going to be absorption of the coin. It's as simple as that, okay? Unless that thing disappears overnight. I would rather buy this than a meme coin, to be honest with you. Straight up, okay? So I'm looking at this. Then DeFi, we haven't seen any DeFi pumps yet. So, you know, I mean, this is the hardest, painful thing. I was buying there, and then it failed. And I said, okay, stay away because it's going to hurt you. And then in this area, we had all the smart talk and then when it broke out, I said, okay, I'm going to grab it there. And it missed my buy zone. And I got holding on to my USDT like an idiot as this thing's just running. And now finally we're getting into that area. You can see the buddy is already coloring the candles into an accumulation phase. If you want to know a little bit more on how the indicator works, you can go into the trade guide if you've got access to the indicator. So it tells you how it colors, what it means when it starts coloring the candles. It's a simple override indicator that the buddy indicator overrides the bodies of the candles so you can see what is happening, what kind of environment you're in. Okay, so sitting in that, and where we are now, there's a sell-off, but look at the volume. It's very low in relation to this. So let this thing sell. It will probably drop back down to 22 cents. There's more pain to be had, and we need that depression to kick in, you know. And from that point onwards, we'll probably pick this thing up from the ashes again. And then finally, I can sweep this bad call that I had, and I can sweep it under the rug and say, okay, right, let's ride this thing and enjoy it, because DeFi is due for a big move for going forward, in my opinion. It's not done anything yet. Okay. A few other coins that I think is running with this one, KMNO Finance. The only thing that bothers me with this one at the moment is that, you know, we're selling off volume is still relatively high. So maybe this thing's going to go make a low. Maybe it's going to go and hit this 27 area. Managed to ride this one nice, double my money, sell half, let the rest ride, you know. So I still have money over for this one. The reinvestment zone is anything between 10 cents and, let's just zoom in there. I'm going to just delete some of the old lines and maybe delete some of the old brush strokes for you guys. I do this live, guys. I don't pre-prepare the charts like some guys do. Purely because I'm a trader. I trade for a living. I don't have time to, I'm not here to try and make money on YouTube videos. Okay. So we're in that area. The volume's still a little high. So I would imagine that this one still needs a little bit more pain before we can really start saying it. But KMNO Finance was a trend setter, was an important thing. So I think that there's going to be something there. So keep an eye on the DeFi sector, guys. It's going to come now. Curve is already up a little bit from where I looked at this morning. We wanted to take the breakout there. It never happened, and then it went down lower. And as I explained to you guys back in the day, once you have a wedge like this, 75% of where the cross is, that's normally the breakout. Now, curve is going to probably come back down to at least 20, 28 cents. And it's nothing other than where the trend broke. So curve does have hell of a lot going for it, but we need a hot narrative to drive DeFi. And I don't know what that news will be, and hopefully it's going to come this time around. But I believe that this is going to easily take your 20 cents to at least $2. That's a nice one, guys. That's a nice little ride to be had. So be patient with these kind of coins. Give it time. DeFi is going to be the backbone because it's a simpler way of moving and going forward into the market. So these kind of coins will do well. Your AI coins as well. I mean, it's just the market just got too excited. So now these things need to die. They need to die. All of them need to die first. This one's already dying. Okay, they need to lose favor with the audience, and then the accumulation will happen. And I've seen this many times where we are now, and then it goes, cup and handle. So let these things die and keep an eye on them, because we turn our backs, and then when you look, it's almost too late. Okay, so let them die. Action zone, get out. Let it die. Let them die and be okay with it. Let them find their base. Once they find that base, we need to grab them. So you just need to be a little bit patient, okay? When we look at Trump coin, nobody likes him at the moment because it's him. He's the reason everything is dumping. When everything is pumping again, Trump coin's going to pump, guys. It's going. It's moving into its banana. Whatever cup and handle, whatever pattern you want to call this, okay? It's happening. MELANIA, I don't know what's the driving narrative behind this. This thing's probably almost zero, but then there's going to be a dead cat bounce. I mean, the argument, look at GUMMY, pumping, but it's going sideways. It's getting to that point where at some stage the token metrics will just kind of kick it out. PEPE, all these BONK. I mean, nobody loves them anymore because they all hurt everybody. There was insane moves with these kind of coins, and I think this is probably where the hangover is at the moment. And that hangover is spilling into our alt season. So once ETH starts running, I think the important coin for today, once ETH starts running, Cardano starts running, they're all holding really good. Cardano probably needs a little bit of downside. Once they start moving, I think Litecoin is Link is on that list as well. It's Oracle for the whole Ethereum network. All these kind of coins, once they start moving, the rest of the market is going to start kicking up to that. And then there's going to be all the people that jumped ship. Going to be quick, then it's going to be easy to move the market up and down again. Okay, let's go. Let's see if I can grab one more or two more of your coins, guys. Let's see, which one am I going to use? Which one I'm going to go? I'm just going to quickly scroll and see where I stop if I can get something. Beam. Let's do Chris's Beam. Okay, I'm going to use Bybit. Now my nose is itching. Somebody is talking about me. Let's have a look at Beam. So same thing. We're reaching the end. Volume's high, guys. It's bad. Probably will dump down a little bit lower. Use this time to ladder yourself out. Probably going to go a little bit lower. You're waiting for this. So when you can see all the bottoms, when it's faced with very low volume, that is normally the sign that the bus is empty. The bus isn't empty yet. We still need to see a little bit of pain. So Beam is in the beginnings of it. Now, what will happen if this thing makes a lower low? You can see the divergence is almost a no-brainer in effect. So let this thing go and punish more people, and then we'll probably pick it up at the bottom. So Beam does have a little bit more downside to it, coming to it. Okay. I see there's a comment about SAGA. Now, I was excited about SAGA as well. When we had the buy, it fell down. We had the action. We got our asses out. And SAGA is now, making a lower low. Still signs for divergence. Volume is very low at the moment. So I'm thinking that SAY does have really good potential as well. So keep an eye on SAY. And let's maybe see if SAGA does the same. It's not quite there yet, but it's coming there. So keep an eye on this. This has not seen the bull market yet because it's launched at the wrong time. So probably this one will be making you more money than a SAY or a Beam or anything like that. So this is probably the coin where you need to almost say, well, I'm down. Something's basically destroyed me already. Let's move that from some random meme coin into SAGA, because this one does have more pump potential than something like that. Let's then have a look at a coin like SUI. We need to look at SUI probably before we end off. Gaming has been dead as well. I mean, yeah, it's funny how the narratives we thought was going to drive just didn't do anything. So let's have a look at SUI. More punishment to be had, guys. SUI needs to come down a little bit lower still. So maybe $1.45. I mean, we've had the immensely powerful run. SUI did exceptionally well. Excited, but it needs this now. It needs to quiet down. There's your emotional market cycle. It needs the emotional market cycle again. It's as simple as that. You have to simplify things like that because it's a human emotion that drives these kind of things, and that's all we need to do. Let's see what else we have here. Maybe there's 41 minutes. I can probably push this for 5 more minutes. What do you guys think? Let's go. Solana. Well, I think Solana is probably, Louis, you got it right. We need to look at Solana. So let me scroll back up. Let's get to Solana real quick. And there's 2 things that I kind of want to point out to you guys before we look at where Solana is going to go next. The first thing is when we look at divergence. So what I mean, if we try and look at when we got there, what did I say? That was the take profit for Solana, 132. Cross the red line, you expect more. Okay, divergence, pullback, that's it. Those that were on the stream with me at that stage, you can verify whether that is there. I think maybe it will be on some of the older zones. I mean, I've got so many charts everywhere, but that was what the idea was. Strong bearish divergence, that would be the TP. If not, we stay above that level. We try and grab it. Verify that for me, please. Somebody in the comments. So, okay. Now, another thing that I want to bring to your attention now. So we stay above that level. We make yet again another divergence. That's the worry. Now you're falling below pivots. Now you're looking for the low. So Solana is now in a downwards trend. And maybe the next pain, when Bitcoin goes to 70, Solana is going to go from 116 to 42. Needs to fill that gap. This one did too well, needs to hurt you. And that's it. Solana airdrop and sell off, maybe that's the big thing. But from that rises the ashes. Remember now, out of that rise the ashes. It's going to go sideways and probably going to pop again. And then we're going to be ready for this. So if you're in this, instead of just trying to say, please rally, hope for the hopium, consider reducing some risk. Not financial advice. I cannot give you any financial advice. I don't know where you're coming from. I'm looking at you through a screen. Okay, but understand that the market can literally go in the wrong direction for long enough that you'll probably be able to stomach. And if your $100 is now $13, there's pretty much nothing you can do with that money anymore. So protect capital. Warren Buffett said this. There's 2 rules to investing. Rule 1, don't lose money. Rule 2, don't forget rule 2. Rule 1. Okay? I screwed it up. But that's as simple as that. Don't lose money. Okay? And don't forget not to lose money. And that's it. That's the message for today, guys. I think undertone this now and say, okay, right, there's some coins that need a little bit more punishment than others, and there could be outliers to this. I'm giving you worst case scenarios. Bitcoin, BNB, good example of that. It needs to go down there, but if it remains strong in the current zone, there it is. But yet again, there was the divergence. We fell below the pivot. Now it's probably going to come down. It's a simple stuff like that. We try and complicate things. The biggest enemy investing is probably yourself. That's reality, because we have our own narratives. So try and put that away. Let TA just tell you what is going to happen and act accordingly. and then just hope to God that it's right. It's simple as that. That's why we have to manage our risk. Okay. I do a lot of videos on education for you guys. There's in the Discord. It's very simple. I also have a private group where I spend the rest of my day with together. You can once off get there. You'll get access to the HODL reports, everything I do in there as well as a whole list of educational videos. Now, today the tiles are loading. There's a lot of stuff in there, as well as for trading. So if you really want to make a living out of this and do more, there's a lot going in there. I go from Wyckoff, I go through Gone. As soon as I talk education, I can see always the videos dip off. People leave. It's like, I don't want to learn. I just want to make money. But in all fairness, it's the guys that understand this. Those are the ones that's going to be making the money the next time around, because they're going to sell. They're going to take profit. Because when we said sell, it wasn't that easy. Remember that. Remember, it's not that easy. Okay. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Statistically, weekends, Fridays, are really good dump days. So from a trading point of view, I'm trying to hunt for a short again. This was the long I did last night. This was the idea that I shared with you guys. It didn't quite go to where I wanted in this morning's video. And a big fast move, probably going to claw back to probably 84, thereabout. And then I'm going to try and hit this thing back down to 71. The bigger picture, this is the setups that I shared with you guys. We're in the sell zone. This is an active short now, guys. Okay. So that's it. The long, where it is still fine. It's still protected. Don't move your stops or any long-term longs you have. I've got long-term spot Bitcoin. I started after my big Ethereum fuck up. I bought Bitcoin again every week. So it's simple as that. So these kind of things still move out, but I think that we need to see these lower areas, 72, 76, thereabout. That's where this needs to go, and then this will reminds me of Bitcoin back down under here when it was down in the dumps. Nobody believed us when we bought there. Same analysis is there, but then we got that higher high and things changed. So we're in that area where you can see the following. The dump is severe. Let's do this. Dump is severe. The time it accumulates for the next dump is short. Time it accumulates for the next dump is longer, and the dump becomes less pronounced. Okay, that's losing momentum. So if we do take that same picture where we are now, dump was severe, accumulation severe, longer accumulation. So the hope is that the dump now won't be that severe anymore. So the fact that it needs more accumulation or redistribution, that's actually the right term. Redistribute. If you go and study Wyckoff, basically says don't label these things. Wait for the move to play out. It's much easier. Okay, but the time it takes much longer, so the move will probably then come through the night. And that's where I'm at. Have a fabulous weekend, Renee. Thanks to each one of you guys for taking time. About 300 people joining in live at the moment. I appreciate each and every one of you guys sticking it through me, sticking it out with me, because I think we're almost through this depression. We're in the right area for us to start looking at the market from a bullish point of view, although knowing that there's probably more pain going to be coming. As simple as that. Okay. Have a lovely one. Join the Discord. Get your Blofin accounts. Don't miss out on these promos. I make it so that you guys can get in on these areas if you don't have any cash. I always find another way or sponsor to try and get you in there. So take advantage of that. Okay, simple as that. And I'll be seeing you next week. Cheers.